Mandate Gardasil by Teresa Fye. In today's society, a large percentage of individuals are more sexually active than any other generation. The probability at some point in their lives will be that they will come in contact with human papillomavirus, or HPV. There are no symptoms and the virus can usually go away on its own. Therefore, these individuals may not know they have contracted it. The big risk is not getting the HPV infection, but in getting cervical cancer. Since HPV is so widespread, it would be wonderful to have a drug that could prevent cases of cervical cancer and STDs. Several states are considering mandating a drug to be given to young girls as early as 9 years old. In Texas, Governor Rick Perry has issued an order to mandate the drug Gardasil. Many parents are against this mandate because they believe it takes away their right to make decisions for their daughters at a young age. Gardasil was licensed by the Food and Drug Administration on June 8, 2006, and is the first vaccine ever developed to prevent certain sexual diseases and, most importantly, cervical cancer. Cervical cancer and HPV are caused by type 6, 11, 16, and 18. The 6 and 18 strand is considered to be high risk and causes most of the cervical cancers. And the low risk is strain 6 and 11, which is usually low risk types found in HPV. The CDC announced that the federal vaccines for children now has the HPV vaccine made by Merck called Gardasil available in all 50 states. But many parents believe Merck is trying to make a fast buck and sell their product using the fear factor. Parents who object to using Gardasil believe the advertisement play on people's fears of cancer and that it represents the image that drugs will solve all the problems. Dr. Karen McCune, a professor of gynecology, stated that she believes that this drug is still in the experimental phase. Yet other doctors feel that Gardasil is definitely effective at fighting cancer-causing HPV strains. Studies show that the drug is more effective when it is with younger girls. Many Texas parents are against this mandate for many reasons. One reason would be that Merck is due to make a lot of money from the sale of this drug. Parents believe that their daughters should be able to decide whether or not to receive Gardasil when they become 18 years of age. Other parents feel that if their child received Gardasil, it will promote their daughters to become sexually active. But Maury Merkman, his argument is that it's not about sex, it's about preventing cancer. Gardasil is produced by transferring the genes that contain the code for key proteins found in 4 viruses. They are then made into a shot of non-infectious HPV-like particles, and the vaccine is injected in 3 shots over a 6-month period. The immune system becomes trained to recognize and destroy the actual virus. Gardasil is meant to prevent types 6, 11, 16, and 18, and these are the causes of cervical cancer and 90% of HPV. Women who were already infected with the same types of HPV that the vaccine targeted were also given the vaccine. Gardasil would not protect against the virus that was already contracted, but will protect against the other viruses. The rate of abnormal cells in these women was reduced by 17% in the first study and 35% in the second study. This information leads us to the state mandate of Texas. Texas legislation's attempt to mandate that Gardasil be required as a part of regular vaccine for 6th grade girls. After Gardasil was FDA approved, Governor Rick Perry issued an order making Texas the first state to require schoolgirls to be vaccinated with the drug beginning in September of 2008. Governor Rick Perry wanted to pass the bill to protect women from the HPV strains that cause cervical cancer. He wanted to protect all young women regardless of their family income status, as well as still allowing the parents to use an opt-out option. Parents should become more informed of the effects HPV can have on their children, now and in the future. Half of the infected females with HPV are between the ages of 15 and 24. Currently, 20 million people are infected per year. In the United States alone, 6.2 million are newly infected. There are about 100 types of HPV viruses, but only 30 of these strains could potentially result in cervical cancer. An average of 9,710 new cases of cervical cancer are in the United States, and 3,700 of these result in deaths every year. Also, worldwide, cervical cancer is the second leading killer of women, and Gardasil targets strains 16 and 18, which are caused by 70% of cervical cancers, as well as 6 and 11, which cause 90% of the HPV cases. These statistics show that these strains are what we are dealing with today. The strains 6, 16, 11, and 18, which are targets of the vaccine, are what we should fear. Women should fear the possibility of contracting cervical cancer. Whatever money Merck is due to make off this drug does not compare to the cost of treatment or lack thereof to millions of women. Many people who already have HPV may not show any symptoms. Because of its disguise, 2/3 of women have come into contact with these strains. And then they will develop within 3 months. Yearly pap smears are done to drastically reduce the sexually transmitted disease and cervical cancer rate. But what happens if you go to your yearly pap smear and contract it in the next month? Then you have to wait 10, 11 months until you go back to your next yearly exam before you can detect it. Within this time period, 10% of women are infected with HPV develop persistent infection. And of these women, they become highly persistent and turn into high-risk grade cervical cancer. Children are mandated by the states to be vaccinated for mumps, measles, polio, and asked to receive the flu shot before entering a school as a safety and security issue to keep these viruses from spreading to other children. The parents do not have any complaints about these shots being administered before the age of 5. The beliefs behind these children receiving these required shots is because they build their immunity against the diseases. Looking at statistics of HPV and cervical cancer, apparently these methods have not been practiced. It is time to stop the sexually transmitted disease rate and cervical cancer rate from rising. And now we are offered a vaccine that can help change the children's future. In today's society, America needs to protect themselves and others, and Gardasil is a step in the right direction. That is why we should be required for young girls to receive as a part of their regular shot requirement.